is Bob Schwartz. We're talking to you live from Hawaii, where we'll be following yet another Mrnfs series. A very special one, to say the least.
Indeed, no rubber or asphalt today. The competition you're about to follow is all about boats and planes, ocean and sky.
Waves and wind.
That's right. And as you happen to be the boat specialist, Bob, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Sean. Indeed, we're starting right off the bat with some serious inshore powerboat racing. The ocean is nice and flat. Perfect for our competitors to show us how well they can handle these speedsters. If they use their trim right, they'll be able to push their machines to their maximum.
These things are fast, and I'm especially curious about the red trident-shaped boat right there. What model is that?
This peculiar one-seater, my friend, is another unique Mrnfs creation. A compact and aggressive speedboat, the Water Rocket. Funny that this specific boat caught your eye. Its pilot is actually one of the newcomers who's recently been rocking Mrnfs.
Interesting. I guess we're not letting this promising challenger out of our sight, then. And that's one lap down.
Gotta avoid those rocks.
Person here, but I have to admit, this series is off to a good start. I see a lot of skills down there.
You're absolutely right, Sean. Plus, we've got Hawaii on its Sunday best. Careful, it may not last.
To reach the finish line. Hang in there, buddy.
That's Water Rocket, Sean. Try to keep up. We're off to a beautiful start. I didn't have my morning coffee, but with this kind of show, I don't think I'll need one.
Excellent warm-up, Bob. Now, let's fly.
everyone. This is Bob Schwartz and Sean Babaloo. What's up, Sean?
All good here, Bob. The first airborne trial has started, as you all know. These are individual races against the clock, and we're currently following our standout contestant from earlier. Come on, Water Rocket. Show them what you got.
Well, it truly brings a tear to my eye to see you so enthusiastic, Sean. You sound like you've just hit your 40s again. So, what's your feeling on this?
The weather conditions still seem reasonable, allowing our pilots to take advantage of these nice wind currents without any real turbulence. I'm really curious to see how the up-and-coming water rocket will take advantage of that. Let's see how it'll turn out.
Do you really think the newbie stands a chance in this competition?
Trust me, Robert, I can feel it in my bones. As you can see, some of the risky segments here require flying real close to the mountains. The contestant is now following the ridge of the mountain.
A great spot for motocross. Off-roading addicts, this is for you.
And welcome to Hawaii. Through the arch. Beechcraft Stagger Wing is truly a beautiful piece, isn't it? And a great choice for that flag. If you take a look at its side, you'll notice that it bears an unusual negative wing stagger design, which means its upper wing is positioned behind the lower one.
Matter of visibility, I presume.
You're absolutely right, Bob, among other things. Watch closely, everyone. You don't see such a hot antique going all out like this every day.
Honolulu just appeared on the horizon. Oh, that's a great sight.
And here we are. This flight ends above the breathtaking Mrnfs playground. A great time for the Stagger Wing and its promising pilots.
Well, I'm staggered.
You've seen both sides of this playlist. You know what you've got yourself into.
This is Sean and Bob back on the ocean. The warm-up is over. We're entering the second round. Same contestants, new waters, new boats. Bob?
I'm reared up and ready to go, Sean. The pilots are already giving it all. First, the contestants have to go along the racetrack water bridge.
Some contestants may not finish this race.
That race is not going to be easy. Lots of shallow water sections to cross and many obstacles to avoid. That's quite a different lineup that we have here compared to our first aquatic ride. We're going bigger, faster, meaner.
I can see that. Check out this boat. It looks like it's calling for blood.
The Ice Marine Blade Runner 35. British origins, extremely slick design, a boat that catches the eye.
Careful with the rocks.
Upriver now, things are going to go differently. Shallow waters, narrow paths.
And that's one lap.
Second lap. There's everything left to play for. A quick shout out to our friend and colleague Ray Warren, who's hosting the equally remarkable motorsports series just nearby at the Nahoma racetrack.
A real professional. I can almost hear him from here.
Here comes the jump.
Listeners, I'd like to point out that the scenery here is absolutely stunning.
Absolutely. It kind of reminds me of that trip I took in Barbados with my wife Giselle about 20 years ago. Blade Runner 35 in all its glory. I love that boat. I actually think I should get one.
Well, Bob, I'm not sure Giselle would agree with you on that.
The competition continues. Let me gather the new data. Done. Time to go to the skies again. For this new flight, you're going to need sharp reflexes and real steady nerves. on to another activity. Power system, back on. The competition continues. Let me gather the new data. Done. Time to go to the skies again. For this new flight, you're going to need sharp reflexes and real steady nerves.
Honestly, you should have seen the colors in that thing. And those custom designs, whew, real masterpiece. No joke, this bake-off season finale was a real success. Hello, we're back live. Welcome back, everyone.
Hey, Sean, we're back indeed for our second air trial, where another contestant has just taken off. Several pilots already had their turn, so we're well suited to tell you that this path is a toughie. Right, Sean?
Well, Bob, you said it. We're talking about a low-altitude aerobatic flight through the canyon and other fun stuff. Highly technical and dangerous. Good luck out there, water rocket.
Mean section right there. The more I see it, the more I think it must be hard to handle.
Yeah, Mrnfs sure isn't sparing these pilots, and believe me, they're clearly not out of the woods yet.
Look at this guy, cleverly teasing what's coming next.
soaring above the lovely Hawaiian countryside.
Lovely, sure, but better watch for these wind turbines.
It this time.
You're almost there. It's just about passing that last gate. Beautiful performance. It's incredible what a Zivco edge and great skills can achieve.
Man and machine working in unison. This is Bob Schwartz here, live and ready for that third round of Ocean and Sky. The race has started, and the 8 boats are already making their way out of the bay. days of live broadcasting, my compadre, Mr. Babalu, is being kept elsewhere at the moment. But we're nothing if not adaptable, so let's move forward until he catches up. This time we're going offshore with way bigger boats, including the incredible Lamborghini Technomar. You heard it, a boat made by Lamborghini, inspired by their astonishing Lamborghini Sean. And fellas, look at this Kraken! It's also important to mention that the sea got a little turbulent since the previous race. The competitors will have to deal with that. And the first position can still be challenged. That's swell. Ooh, someone who's never experienced it can't fathom what it's like to sail in such conditions, especially at that speed.
Hey everyone, it's Sean, and I'm back to the studio with my man Bob. What did I miss?
Well, my friend, we're halfway through the race, and the weather conditions are only getting worse.
I can see it. I mean, look at these waves. Choosing larger boats clearly was the wise choice for this race.
Contestants need to push their engines.
Come on, water rockets.
Howdy, listeners. We're still on, and after quite a rough powerboat ride, it looks like Hawaii is set on making things difficult for our competitors.
That's right. After dealing with a pretty choppy sea, our pilots now have to cope with difficult flying conditions. Don't get fooled by this beautiful sky. Some serious turbulence is to be expected. Let's just hope that volcano doesn't have an extra surprise in store for us down there.
Airplanes, volcanoes, and turbulence. Sounds like a good old direct-to-DVD movie.
Hold on to your seat. It's time to gain altitude. As we speak, our favorite Challenger water rocket is back in the sky for this third flight. In the cockpit of a stunning Grumman F-8F Bearcat, or simply the Bear. As an extremely reliable machine, it has served many purposes back in the day. Combat, aerobatic, air racing, or leisure.
The stories this plane could tell.
For sure. If that thing could speak, you would not be disappointed. Let's go tease the master of the island.
The big old fire mountain. Talking about the plane, aren't you, Sean? Bay, and the contestants are already sailing at full speed. Sean, this is it, the final round of this series.
You're right. 2 events to go, starting as usual with an encounter at sea.
Look at this light, Sean. The day is young and promising, just like this race.
The ocean has calmed down, but this doesn't mean there isn't any less action. Our drivers out there must be filled with adrenaline and renewed vigor, as these are the last moments to score those final precious points.
You're totally right. These guys are going to play every single card they have. Trimming, nitro, and the best of their sea knowledge. Shallow water section.
Careful, the passage gets pretty narrow below these bridges. Checking on my #1 contestant, Water Rocket, who's about to enter its second lap.
I'm with you on that. This time, our pilot got a DCB M31, an excellent reasonably sized performance catamaran. Not as impressive as the Technomar, but way more suitable for that kind of technical inshore showdown. Aircraft carrier. Look at that massive ship.
Let's call this a do-over.
Surrounded by manta rays here. Oh, a majestic tribute to the local fauna. Giselle would love that.
Just like a ballet.
Come on, Water Rocket. Now's the time to push. Trim that M31. The contestant in first position is doing a...
And that's the finish line, Bob. The Pacific has been tamed.
A thrilling race, Sean. Way to conclude the ocean part of the competition.
luck, driver. New challenges lie ahead.
Ay, ay, ay.
Now, we know in theory that a laser can pop popcorn, but there's no way we're going to be able to get a laser powerful enough to pop a whole house full of popcorn. So I'm going to make a frying pan. And not just any normal frying pan, but a giant steel electromagnetically heated frying pan. This is going to be crazy.
It's a big pan, but it's not house size. And that's because the second change to the movie scenario is one of scale. The team are starting small, with just one window.
Now in the movie, the weak point was the windows. So I'm constructing a window, putting it in a wall, making that the lid for a pan. Now if this myth is true, popcorn should pop like crazy, pop with mythical power, bust through the windows, and spill out everywhere.
That's the setup. And inside, Grant is using his...
Apply the Jedi Mind Force.
mind... to crunch the crucial numbers for the expansion potential of popcorn.
So, the popped kernel has an increase in volume of approximately 30 times, which is pretty good.
Next, he uses the Force gauge to measure the pressure of that expansion.
Rise, popcorn, rise. Push on the plate to the source.
Which turns out to be 0.22 psi.
Parents that had similar frame of mind.
He has great parents. His mom was a nurse. His dad was somebody who was installing the Nielsen rating boxes on the back of TVs.
Yeah.
They were in Dunedin. But he really worked hard in school and had the opportunity to be able to work his way through Yale and Harvard. And after that, what he decided to do was volunteer to go into the Navy. He wanted to give back to the country that had given him so much, and he saw 9/11 happening.
In 2009, Jill Casey Black became Mrs. Ron DeSantis, and their lives together took off. Her TV career included a stint at the Golf Channel with the show PGA Tour Today. Her newlywed husband, fresh off an illustrious military career, was going into politics.
When I first ran for Congress in 2012, she'd be knocking on doors, these Republican voters' doors, and just think about it, like, you're on TV. When people see you in person, it's kind of a big deal if they know you from TV. So literally someone that they see in the morning show shows up at their doorstep, and they're like, wait a minute, I know you.
To all of those people across the state, our first responders, I want to say thank you.
These days, Casey DeSantis is still famous in Florida as First Lady, with super fame at home for being mom. 6-year-old Madison just started first grade, 5-year-old Mason in kindergarten, and 3-year-old Mamie just began pre-K.
Where are you going? Come back! You were circle and come back! They're the first young family to live in the governor's mansion in about 60 years. Mamie is the first baby born in the governor's mansion in about 50 years. And so they have a unique perspective on life. They've always had the security detail around them. They think that that's just normal part of life. But they're having fun, and they get a lot of neat opportunities. And also, this is an opportunity for us to be able to teach our kids about what exactly we are fighting for.
I do want to bring up my better half, the First Lady of Florida, to say a few words.
Who are you as First Lady? What defines you?
What defines me as First Lady? I think one who looks at the role with a lot of humility, right? It isn't about me. It is about being in a position to be able to do good on behalf of the people of this state and hopefully of this country.
Tell me about some of the women that you've helped with Hope Florida.
We've been able to transition off either partly or entirely more than 8,100 people from government assistance because they're on a pathway to economic self-sufficiency. They're now in homes on their own. They're cooking for their children, literally in tears, because this is the first time that they have a roof over their home, over their house, that they've been able to get on their own.
Casey told me helping others also comes from getting a second chance at life. In October 2021, her husband announced Casey DeSantis had breast cancer.
The day that I ultimately found out, it was Ron who was the one that told me, because I couldn't listen to the doctors. I didn't want to hear any of the opining. I didn't know if I was going to see my kids graduate from kindergarten, let alone going off into high school or watching them walk down the aisle. So I had him every step of the way there as a shoulder to cry on.
How does it make you feel when she talks about survival because of you?
I did my role as what a good husband should do, but she really fought hard. And I'll tell you, once we went public with it, the amount of prayers that we got from Florida and around the country really, really boosted her spirit and my spirit.
But what he did for me in my cancer battle is what he did for the people of this state during COVID. Because he went through and he analyzed the data. Just like he fought for me, he fought for the people of this state.
I'm told that we must trust the science.
Indoor and outdoor venues should be closed.
We've been told that we must deny truth, back down, and look the other way. Enough is enough. When you come after our kids, we fight back.
That's Casey's voice in that campaign ad about fighting for America's children. And she wrote it. She says it's all hands on deck to get all 5 of the DeSantis family to the White House. And we'll have more Families in Focus later this week. I got to spend time with a couple of others, former Ambassador Nikki Haley and her children in their home state of South Carolina, and a wonderful day in New Hampshire on the campaign trail with Dr. Apurva Ramaswamy. She told me what inspired her husband Vivek to run for president, and I got to hold a baby. I've loved this series, loved meeting the DeSantis family. It's really, really been fun. And now it all kicks off with primary season 1 week from today in Iowa. Well, a new chapter in the battle to ban former President Donald Trump from state primary ballots. The U.S. Supreme Court, with a date now to begin oral arguments. It is February 8th. Plus, House Republicans are getting ready to hold the president's son, Hunter Biden, in contempt of Congress.
I hope that we do refer charges for contempt. I'm a Republican who's held Republicans' feet to the fire when they don't show up to Congress with a subpoena. I plan to hold Democrats to the same standard.
Well, it turns out someone appointed by Hunter's father may actually have the final say on all of this. Attorney Phil Holloway in Focus Next.
Introducing Ned's Plaque Psoriasis. He thinks his flaky red patches are all people see.
Otezla is the #1 prescribed pill to treat plaque psoriasis. What? It can help you get clearer skin and reduce itching and flaking with no routine blood tests required. Doctors have been prescribing it for nearly a decade. Otezla is also approved to treat psoriatic arthritis. Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Some people taking Otezla had depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur.
With clear skin, movie night is a groovy night. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla.
Eat delicious every day with the new Jenny Craig and feel great while losing weight.
I've lost 50 pounds with Jenny Craig.
Now Jenny Craig is delivered nationwide to your door and more convenient than ever before.
My meals are prepped for me. The Jenny Craig food is so good.
Get satisfying meals and indulgent desserts. The secret? Jenny Craig makes intermittent fasting so easy, we call it intermittent feasting.
The chicken carbonara, I just love it. The best part is you get dessert every single night.
With 10 hours to feast, delicious breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, overnight rest, and morning recharge bars to curb hunger. Lose up to 24 pounds in just 8 weeks.
I feel amazing. I lost 35 pounds. I lost 50 pounds. Woo!
Eat delicious every day and lose weight with the new Jenny Craig. Take advantage of our special offer. Get $40 off every shipment with promo code Jenny. Order now.
When you die, are you going to heaven or not? You can know for sure. Heavenornot.net.
Only from SimpliSafe. 24/7 lifeguard protection. This exclusive technology allows SimpliSafe agents to help stop crime in real time.
Stop. Police are on their way.
For instant intruder deterrence and faster police response, there's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Get 35% off plus a free fiber and spice by using discount code Fox News.
Countdown to the caucuses. With just a week to go, inside the issues important to Iowa voters. And the candidates' plans to win big. Sean's keeping track. Tonight on a must-see Hannity.
Welcome to Car Breakdowns 101. I'm your Professor Ice-T. If your car is out of warranty, a car breakdown could eat you alive. Look at that car. The transmission alone could cost you $3,000. And that engine, how much you love your kidneys? Don't even get me started on the computer system. That's a small fortune. Do what I did and call Car Shield. They get expensive car repairs taken care of so you don't have to. Class dismissed.
Call 800-930-3857.
Get back your internet freedom. PCmatic VPN is now available for mobile devices. Get protection that's 100% made in America. Go to PCmatics.com. Built by Americans to protect America.
Public.com is the one place where you can invest in almost everything, including treasury bills, which have the backing of the U.S. government. Lock in your fixed rate and purchase treasury bills in seconds. Get up to $10,000 when you transfer an account to Public.com.
Get back your internet freedom. PCmatic VPN is now available for mobile devices. Get protection that's 100% made in America. Go to PCmatics.com. Built by Americans to protect America.
Discover the only system of chef-crafted meals, smart oven, and app that makes cooking as simple as scanning a QR code. With Tavala, explore a wide array of meals crafted by talented chefs. It's like, well, magic. Get started at Tavala.com.
This Fox News alert, House Republicans have just released a resolution to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. President Joe Biden's son defied a congressional subpoena for a closed-door deposition last month. David Spunt from Washington with the story. David.
Hi, Harris. Good morning. Here is a draft of the resolution just released this morning. In 2 days, a House panel will begin those contempt proceedings. A day later, Hunter Biden will be before a federal judge in California to answer for tax charges. Now, both the House and Judiciary committees will start contempt proceedings based on what Hunter is doing in this photograph. He's on Capitol Hill on December 13th, but he did not show up for a scheduled deposition. Instead, he gave a lengthy statement outside the Capitol dome. Chairman Jim Jordan and James Comer say contempt is the next natural step. Quote, Hunter Biden's willful refusal to comply with our subpoenas constitutes contempt of Congress and warrants referral to the appropriate United States Attorney's Office for prosecution. We will not provide him with special treatment because of his last name. Though the subpoena was for a closed-door deposition, Democrats are outraged at the idea of contempt when Hunter Biden offered to testify in public on camera for millions to see.
There has never been a case in which Congress has held a private individual in contempt of Congress when he agreed to come forward and testify before a full committee, which was precisely what Chairman Comer repeatedly offered on TV.
However, remember these two men, Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, they were also held in contempt and actually prosecuted by the D.C. U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves' office for ignoring a congressional subpoena. Their cases were a little different, Harris, as they both claimed executive privilege, but they were prosecuted, as I say, by Matthew Graves, who happened to be appointed by one President Joe Biden in November 2021. Now, before the Hunter contempt issue even gets to his office, it must pass the full House. Then his office would need to decide whether or not to prosecute in a court of law. And speaking of a court of law, Hunter Biden will be, as I said, in federal court in Los Angeles on Thursday to answer for 9 tax charges. 3 of them are felonies. Harris?
David, thank you very much. And focus now, criminal defense attorney and former assistant district attorney Phil Holloway. Phil, happy New Year. Good to see you. First of all, should there be any concerns of a conflict of interest between this Attorney General U.S. Attorney Office Matthew Graves, who was appointed by Joe Biden?
Well, great to be with you, and Happy New Year's to you as well, Harris. When we were in law school, we learned a legal doctrine that said what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And in this particular case, if the U.S. Attorney can prosecute in criminal court people that are associated with Joe Biden's chief political opponent, then certainly if he's going to maintain any credibility, he has really no option, in my view, but to prosecute Hunter Biden in the like fashion. Look, what Hunter did was arguably worse than the other individuals, because what he did was went out into the parking lot, basically, of the Capitol building on the day that he was subpoenaed to be there. So it's not like he can say he was sick or something else. He went into their yard and literally just defied them. He said, I dare you to do anything. I'm out here in the parking lot, and I'm going to figuratively just give you the finger and tell you what you can do with your subpoena. He's daring Congress to hold him in contempt, and that's what they're going to do. I don't think the U.S. Attorney really has much option. Again, if he's going to maintain credibility, he's got to treat both of them the same way.
And what happens if he doesn't?
If he doesn't, then, of course, there's going to be nothing that the Congress can do about it. They can't force the U.S. Attorney to bring criminal charges. That's entirely discretionary. But I think there's going to be some political blowback, and I think that there's going to be additional hearings. I think that the Congress will use their subpoena power to dig into the reasons why, if the U.S. Attorney elects not to make any formal criminal charges out of this.
You know, I've had viewers ask me, well, why should we care about Hunter Biden when no one can even hold his father accountable for having been on so many phone calls with Hunter Biden's business associates when the president said he was never in contact with anybody like that? Like, why is he in focus for us?
Why is Hunter Biden in focus? Well, Hunter Biden is basically the key to whatever is going on with the Biden, their alleged, criminal family money laundering enterprise. He's the key. He holds the answers. He's the one that knows, at least one of the people that knows how all these business entities that had no products to sell, no services to provide, were able to rake in millions and millions and millions of dollars from foreign nations, and then have that money wind up allegedly in the pocketbooks of Joe Biden and other members of the family. So that's why Hunter Biden is very significant, and he ought to be in the focus of the Congress.
One product to sell, the Biden name. And isn't that what they go around and around about? No, the reason I ask that question in part is because if this Matthew Graves doesn't do his job and do the obvious, as you say, and that is put Hunter Biden in a position to have a case adjudicated against him, all eyes on Matthew Graves, because could there be politics behind it? We don't know, but we're going to watch every part of this. Okay, let's move. The U.S. Supreme Court will take up the Colorado Trump ballot ban next month, and that state, along with Maine, cited the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause to boot Donald Trump from the ballot. Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence, with this.
While I said that the president's words were reckless, I think these efforts to take the decision away from the American people are really antithetical to the very democracy that President Biden and many Democrats talk about wanting to defend.
Let's take a look at the ballot battles across the country now. Dozens of states are looking to remove Donald Trump's name. A new editorial this morning, the Supreme Court to the ballot rescue, trying to ban opposition party candidates from the ballot, will spread unless the justices stop it. Look, I've had Democrats, even Patrick Murphy, start with that today, but even they say it. Like, this hurts everybody.
Yeah, Harris, the 14th Amendment insurrection clause is not self-executing. It was never designed or intended to permit a patchwork of individual rules around the country, rules that are made up by courts or other entities or even individuals, like a bureaucrat who's unelected. We can't have elections being decided by who is in charge of printing the ballots in the United States.
All right, oral arguments begin with the U.S. Supreme Court on the Trump ballot ban, February 8th. Good to see you, and also thank you for watching the Faulkner Focus. Outnumbered.
Take a shower, All right.
When migraine strikes, are the trade-offs of trading worth it? Ubrelvy is another option. It quickly eliminates migraine pain.
Do not take with strong CYP3A4 inhibitors. Allergic reactions to Ubrelvy can happen. Most common side effects were nausea and sleepiness.
Ask about Ubrelvy.
Hi, I'm Tally, and I lost 85 pounds on Gola. All my life, I struggled with my weight. I tried every diet, and I even had weight loss surgery. But after complication, I had gained everything back extremely fast. I was unhealthy, miserable, and depressed. Following Golo and taking release, I was able to lose weight gradually and keep it off. I wish I started sooner. Don't wait. Go straight to Golo.com.
Hello, I'm former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. A lot of times you can't control the amount of sleep that you're getting. If you can't fall asleep or you're tossing and turning all night, you can't get the sleep you need to stay healthy. I know, it's scary, unless you use Relaxium Sleep. Relaxium Sleep is a product that's made from natural ingredients, and it usually works from the very first night you try it. It helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed, earning your body those quality hours of sleep that it desperately needs. Join the hundreds of thousands of people who've experienced the relief and health benefits from getting a great night's sleep and get Relaxium Sleep. Relaxium Sleep helps you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling refreshed.
Relaxium Sleep worked from the very first night I took it.
The first time I took Relaxium and I slept through the night, I thought, wow, this worked for me. I could not believe it.
Relaxium Sleep is studied, tested, and designed by a neurologist to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up refreshed.
Relaxium is drug-free and not addictive. So you can take Relaxium every night and never worry about side effects. And the best part is, it can start working from the very first night.
When I take Relaxium Sleep, I sleep better than I have in years.
I wake up feeling like I've had the best night's sleep.
Stop being afraid and start sleeping your fears away with Relaxium Sleep. Your body and your mind will thank you.
I'm telling you, Relaxium is
the real deal.
Mike Huckabee is so confident that Relaxium will work for you, he's asked us to give away 1,000 bottles. Get your risk-free bottle of Relaxium Sleep now. It's guaranteed to work or your money back.
Call 800-898-9322. 800-898-9322. Call 800-898-9322. 800-898-9322.
We are often falsely taught that nutrition is complicated, and we need to take 20 different vitamins a day to stay healthy. It's not complicated. Mother Nature's done the hard part for us. All we have to do is get it into our body. We all need good nutrition, and we all need a healthy source of fiber. Less than 5% of Americans are getting enough fiber. Balance of Nature makes it easy. Balance of Nature's fiber and spice is made from whole ingredients, just like the fruits and veggies, and is formulated to the same high standard. Simply put, it's the best fiber product on the market. I wouldn't take anything else. Together, fruits and veggies with fiber and spice make the whole health system. When you get enough fiber and enough nutrition through whole spices and whole fruits and vegetables, your whole world will change.
Happy New Year. Get 35% off plus a free fiber and spice supplement by using discount code BOOM.
Parents, is this what your kids are learning about President Trump? There's a reason he's leading the presidential race, and Mike Huckabee wants to show your kids why with the Kids Guide to President Trump. Get it for free at freetrumpguide.com. That's freetrumpguide.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Alexander. Or as you probably know me, Royal Flusher 25 from WSOP. If you love poker, play poker on the WSOP free-to-play app. Download now and get the WSOP thrill in your hand.
DirecTV Sports Central brings your game stats and scores together, and now you can get it without a satellite. One more reason to finally get rid of cable, but getting rid of the cable guy might not be as easy.
Oh, yeah.
Visit DirecTV.com for up to a $200 reward card.
Want to save money and get cash? For veteran homeowners, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, call New Day and apply. 2, take out an average of $70,000. 3, pay off your credit cards.
Call 1-888-985-1371.
The Iowa caucuses, the first presidential election results. Martha McCallum and Brett Baer in your special live coverage. Democracy 24, your freedom, your vote.
Right here on Fox News.
America is watching.
We're getting new reaction this hour from the Biden administration on Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's decision to hide his hospitalization at a time when America is facing active threats around the world. And reminder, he is in the chain of command. Just a short time ago, NSC spokesman John Kirby told reporters that there's no plan for any changes regarding Austin's position. This is despite growing calls for his resignation. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host Emily Campagno and Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Hudson Institute Senior Fellow Rebecca Heinrichs, and Fox News contributor and host of The Guy Benson Show on Fox News Radio, Guy Benson. Austin's ordeal began on December 22nd when he underwent a minor elective procedure at Walter Reed. He then returned to the intensive care unit last Monday, January 1st, with, quote, severe pain. Austin's next in command was given some of his duties the next day, but wait for it, she was on vacation in Puerto Rico at the time and was not even told that he was hospitalized. Why were they hiding this? President Biden wasn't informed until Thursday. That's right, the White House had no clue that the Secretary of Defense was hospitalized. Senior Pentagon officials and Congress only learned the news on Friday. Austin's condition was so closely guarded that according to Politico, one DOD official was told by Austin's aides that the Secretary was, quote, working from home for the week. That, of course, is not true. Austin is still recovering at Walter Reed. We wish him the best. And he has issued this statement, quote, I recognize I could have done a better job ensuring that the public was appropriately informed. I commit to doing better. This was my medical procedure, and I take full responsibility for my decisions about disclosure. A better job? There's a war in Europe. There's a war in the Middle East. Attacks against U.S. forces in the Middle East and the Red Sea. Not to mention Iran, China, North Korea, the list goes on. And Austin, he just disappears without the White House or Secretary of State knowing anything about it. Now politicians on both sides of the aisle are calling for accountability.
When you're the Secretary of Defense, you need to make everyone aware that you're actually going to be out of pocket. National Security Council didn't know it. The White House didn't know it. Congress didn't know it. We're at a time of a lot of turmoil internationally, and suddenly have the Secretary of Defense, more than just a matter of wasn't there, actually sent over false information saying I'm working from home when he's not actually available at all. That's a whole different issue.
Someone's head should roll. If it's not Secretary Lloyd Austin, someone on his staff dropped the ball here.
The handling of this by the Secretary of Defense is totally unacceptable. The Secretary and the administration, frankly, need to step forward and give the American people the facts.
This was not an appropriate step, not an appropriate way to handle what was his hospitalization, and hopefully there will be greater transparency, at least within the administration.
You probably should own up to it if they're life-threatening, and even an elective procedure like having your gallbladder removed could lead to an infection and could be life-threatening. But I think it's better to own up, because if you don't tell people the truth, they're going to speculate even worse.
Well, we wish Secretary Austin a quick recovery and hold him in our prayers at this time. But Rebecca, putting that to the side and talking about what this means for the American people, the control of the U.S. Armed Forces is executed from the President through the Secretary of Defense. That's the chain of command. And John Bacon, moderate Republican, not quick to criticize the administration, said we have a 15-minute warning time for nuclear attacks from Russia and China with the latest weapons. The SecDef is vital in responding. What if there had been a nuclear attack?
Well, right. The Secretary of Defense would clearly be somebody that the president would want to be taking advice from in a situation like that. And the fact that they didn't even seem to know that he was missing. So when Secretary Austin gave his sort of apology for not being transparent, that wasn't the worst part. The worst part is that evidently the president didn't know he was gone, the deputy secretary didn't know he was gone, the joint staff didn't know he was gone. Nobody knew. So my question is, who is operating on his behalf? I mean, the United States military took out a senior militia member in Iraq on Thursday, evidently when the Secretary of Defense was incapacitated. So who was governing over that from a civilian leadership standpoint? Who is interacting with our allies for our prosperity guardian of patrol of the Red Sea? It's a mystery, so there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered about who's in charge.
Harris, and the lack of knowledge of the White House. I mean, Washington Post says at a White House meeting last week, Jake Sullivan, he's National Security Advisor, he noticed that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was absent. A top official was there instead, but what neither Sullivan nor Baker knew at the moment was Austin was hospitalized at Walter Reed, the White House.
You know, I hear everybody with hypotheticals today. I don't think you need any. I think the actuals are pretty damning, and you gave some of them. The actual things that are going on in the world, the actual 101 times that our U.S. men and military women have been hit in the Middle East on bases and in stations around the Middle East since October 17th, 101 times. I think the actual, that's an ongoing threat. Is he in charge or is he not? But two things really struck me in early reporting with Peter Doocy, because the information was just coming from John Kirby. So it's not just that they didn't know they were lied to. They were manipulated. What the Situation Room did when it did its check-in to see which cabinet members or which staff were where was they were told that simply Austin was in the D.C. area, when in fact he had left his home to go to the hospital to have a procedure that he said was elective. Then he returned home from the hospital and then had a complication serious enough to go back to the hospital and remains hospitalized today. The D.C. area was not the complete truth, and truth with omission is a lie. So I'm wondering, you know, without hypotheticals, what is the truth here about why the White House, via John Kirby, wants to put a fork in the answer when you ask the question, what was going on with the SecDef during all of these things that don't need hypotheticals because they're real?
They're real. And the Pentagon Press Corps, you know, Guy, they're a very serious, fantastic group of reporters. You saw the level of questions and detail they asked amid the fall of Afghanistan. My radar went up even further when I saw the level of concern coming from Jen Griffin, our own fantastic correspondent there. This is the type of behavior you expect from the Chinese government. Barbara Starr at CNN, she's retired now, but this really stood out to me. The lack of disclosure that the SecDef was ill is a huge strategic failure. She goes on to say, as of tonight, I do not see a way forward for believing the Pentagon tells the truth on anything. These are serious criticisms from serious reporters.
Devastating
criticisms, deserved criticisms. And we put on the screen a moment ago the statement from Austin now several days ago saying, oh, I understand I could have done better on this, and I commit to being better in the future. He's talking about transparency. Here we are days later, we still don't know what happened. We still don't know why he was hospitalized, specifically. They're not giving us those answers. And for John Kirby to come out, as he did today, and say, apparently, no harm, no foul, the job of the secretary is not in jeopardy at all, it's actually rather extraordinary, because the lack of truth here, the lie that was told, working from home, the terrible judgment exhibited by the secretary, keeping the president out of the loop, you would think these might be fireable offenses, but this is an administration that is allergic to accountability, and if they weren't going to fire a single person over Afghanistan, a debacle with much wider-ranging implications, maybe he'll get off the hook for this one.
By the way, when was the last time anybody was working from home, being held responsible and possibly on painkillers? If the pain is serious enough to go back to the hospital, was he ready to work?
Yeah, it's a great question. And Emily, while most of the media has been pretty lucid in their reporting on this, Axios, Republicans erupt over secrecy. So it's Republicans erupting this problem.
Of course. Look, the media is always going to get it wrong. At the end of the day, Secretary Austin ignored the law. And for those who sort of found some semblance of heart in the fact, some reassurance in the fact that he was one of those at the wheel, despite the absolute incompetence of, for example, President Biden, should now take this as a sign that the entire administration was either asleep at the wheel or blatantly ignored the law. And you know, to your point, absolutely, troops are drawing combat pay right now. And while President Biden was flipping around in the Caribbean for his multiple nth vacation, the secretary, the deputy secretary of defense who took over the reins from Secretary Austin, she was on vacation in Puerto Rico. Think about the ineptitude that this shows. And for me, the highlight as well was that President Biden didn't notice. Think about yourselves in your workplace. At all times, my executive producer and multiple people on the team know exactly where I am. I am in constant communication with them. If they all of a sudden stopped hearing from me, they would know within a few minutes. They would sound the alarm or they would inquire. So to me, the two-way street information, the fact that it was paused on both ends is what is so problematic. For no one to notice, does he not assemble communication both ways? I mean, this is an absolute travesty.
Such an important point, Emily. I mean, for anyone questioning who is in control in the White House and whether it's truly the president, this does very little to shore up your wonders. All right, the Supreme Court has agreed to take up Colorado's decision to kick former President Trump off its primary ballot, thrusting the justices into a pivotal role that could alter the course of this year's presidential election.
He hits his mark center stage and is crushed by a baby grand piano.
You're replacing me? Customize and save with Liberty Bibbity.
He doesn't even have a mustache.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
As someone living with type 2 diabetes, I want to keep it real and talk about some risks. With type 2 diabetes, you have up to 4 times greater risk of stroke, heart attack, or death. Even at your A1C goal, you're still at risk, which if ignored could bring you here. May put you in one of those, or even worse. Too much? That's the point. Get real about your risks and do something about it. Talk to your healthcare provider about ways to lower your risk of stroke, heart attack, or death. Learn more at getrealaboutdiabetes.com.
My little family is me, Aria, and Jade. Just the three of us girls. I never thought twice about feeding her kibble, but about 2 years ago, I realized she was overweight. She was always out of bread. That's when I decided to introduce the farmer's dog to her diet. It's just so fresh. She literally gets bubbles in her mouth. Now she's a lot more active. She's able to join us on our adventures. We're all able to do things as a family.
Get started at betterforthem.com.
My name is Barbara, and I'm a registered nurse, and I take Balance of Nature. I really love gardening. I love being outdoors, and I love watching things grow. Gardening is just kind of an extension of enjoying nature. You get the sunlight, you get the breeze, you listen to the birds. It's the whole thing. I believe in Balance of Nature, and I really love it.
Happy New Year. Get 35% off plus a free fiber and spice by using discount code Fox News.
Parents, is this what your kids are learning about President Trump? There's a reason he's leading the presidential race, and Mike Huckabee wants to show your kids why with the Kids Guide to President Trump. Get it for free at freetrumpguide.com. That's freetrumpguide.com.
People diagnosed with mesothelioma have questions about treatment and medical bills. That's why we've offered a free book about mesothelioma for over 10 years. Call 1-800-500-5202 or go to mesobook.com.
The Golden Globes you didn't get to see.
Hollywood's biggest stars are about to walk right this way.
Take a special inside look with a can't-miss recap tonight on Jesse Waters Primetime.
Inside every Splenda product is a mission to help people live happier, healthier, and longer lives by making it easier to cut out sugar. From our factory to our stevia farm, Splenda's team of over 2,000 individuals are dedicated to helping people live their best lives, taking pride that every day millions say, I use Splenda. With a delicious sweet taste and quality you can trust, Splenda is the easiest way to reduce sugar.
Are you constantly turning up the TV or asking people to repeat themselves? Millions of Americans suffer mild to moderate hearing loss, but MD Hearing is on a mission to change that. MD Hearing was founded by a doctor with one goal in mind, helping patients get high-quality, affordable hearing aids. All MD Hearing aids are FDA registered, and right now you choose between our new MD Hearing Neo or America's best-selling value hearing aid, the Air. Both are only $297 a pair through this TV offer. Call and make your choice now. The new Neo is nearly invisible, and the Air offers state-of-the-art sound quality and noise management. Both units are fully rechargeable. Both come with free shipping, free lifetime U.S.-based support, and a 45-day risk-free trial. So stop struggling with mild to moderate hearing loss and make your choice between the Neo or Air for only $297 a pair by calling MD Hearing now.
Call 800-805-7052. 800-805-7052.
I feel like I should have some bar weights or something when I hear that. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear former President Donald Trump's appeal of the Colorado Supreme Court's unprecedented decision to ban him from that state's presidential primary ballot. The former president is facing more than 12 current and pending efforts to take him off ballots across the nation. And they cite the January 6th riot in section of the 14th Amendment, the so-called insurrection clause. The Trump team and many legal experts, including 27 states' attorney general, say the high court must strike down these efforts as unconstitutional. They argue it's not up to the states to decide who Americans get to vote for. However, some Democrats seem to think the decision to remove the Republican frontrunner from the ballot is justified.
Do you think he should be barred from any ballots given his actions on January 6th?
Well, I support every state taking very aggressive action to keep him off the ballot.
There is a view of the Constitution in Article 14, Section 3, that he should not be able to run for president. But that's not the point. The point now is that, again, different states have different laws.
Emily, legally lay it out for us.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect Nancy Pelosi to know the law, but unfortunately, she is emphasizing what hasn't yet been decided in stone. Now, we know that legal precedence overwhelmingly indicates that, in fact, the office of the presidency is excluded from that clause. However, the Supreme Court has just taken it up, which means that potentially by the end of the primaries this year, we will know for sure whether or not the office of the presidency is excluded or included. And we all expect that it will be excluded. Now, back to the point of the amicus curiae brief filed by 27 states, the arguments by the Democrats. Half of their argument, in addition to Colorado totally usurping authority from the courts and the states and the people, is the fact that it will sow absolute chaos, and we've already seen that. It is spreading like wildfire. We are seeing it in Pennsylvania. We saw it in Maine. We are seeing everyone that apparently at the whim of a pen have sought to discredit and disqualify their Republican counterparts simply on the basis of an argument. So I'm so grateful that the Supreme Court has taken this up, but at the end of the day, we will learn that not only is the presidency, that office again, excluded from this argument, but also that while all of these appeals are happening and winding their way through, everything is sort of stayed and paused. So once the Supreme Court says, all right, you're back,
I mean, the question remains, well, is it too little too late?
Yeah,
Because
real
this is
quickly,
past the
you
primary.
answered my follow-up, which was, does this have bigger implications now? Because I think part of the blind spot for Democrats is that, you know, this could happen to them too. Like, are they not forecasting the future at this point? So this really does have bigger implications. Talk to me about the politics of this.
Well, there's a poll that I saw over the weekend from YouGov that showed roughly 8 in 10 Democrats support keeping President Trump off the ballot. Independents, by a double-digit margin, go the other direction. Of course, Republicans are the mirror opposite of Democrats. But that shows the enthusiasm within the Democratic base for disqualifying President Trump from the ballot. And I think that could sow some chaos. You've seen state legislators in some key swing areas introducing legislation to throw Joe Biden off the ballot. Ron DeSantis just said he's looking at that in Florida just to make a point. You don't have to be a Trump fan. You don't have to defend anything that he did after the 2020 election to say that this is corrosive, and in my view, to hope that the Supreme Court won't just get this right, but it will be lopsided, just to nip this in the bud, because this is a very dangerous path.
I got to tell you, if you're looking across the world in America and how we do democracy in a republic, you're scratching your head going, oh, we could do that here in this banana republic. We don't need to go through all that they went through to get a constitution, so on and so forth. I mean, it's embarrassing.
This is what is done in a dictatorship like Russia. It's not what's done in a democracy like the United States. The nuance is important here. So you're a Colorado voter. You go to the poll. We now know Donald Trump's name will be printed on the ballot. We found that out this Friday. The Secretary of State confirmed it. Still going to the Supreme Court. Well, Secretary of State Jenna Griswold was asked, okay, so his name's on the ballot. She was asked this on CNN. What happens if people bubble in his name, but the Supreme Court upholds the decision of Colorado? Here's what she said. If voters cast a ballot or vote for someone who's disqualified, we would not be able to count those votes. So your vote doesn't count if the Supreme Court upholds this. Okay, so you say, no, I'll just write his name in, no problem. Oh, well, wait, the Colorado court thought about that. Therefore, the secretary may not list President Trump's name, nor may she be able to count write-in votes cast for him. There are 1.34 million people in Colorado who cast a vote for Donald Trump in 2020. Assume it's the same universe. That's 1.34 million people disenfranchised. That's what we do in Putin's Russia, not what we do in America.
Don't they say count every vote? Count every vote, they say.
Every vote.
Except for those millions of votes.
Yep.
So, Rebecca, time and time again right now, you're getting legal experts to tell you that it can't be a split. It has to be a 9-0.
Right, so 2 points. One, you have the Biden administration saying that their foreign policy is democracy versus autocracy, and yet here they are in this particular instance supporting these Democrats taking Trump off the ballot, which disenfranchises individual voters. But then the other piece I'm worried about is the integrity and the reputation of the Supreme Court of the United States. If you do not have an overwhelming majority or a 9 ruling, you're going to have accusations that the court is being partisan, that the court, that this is a constitutionalist court. I don't even like calling it a conservative court. These are originalist judges, majority originalist judges, and they're going to judge fairly. But if you don't have all of the judges or most of the judges, then it will look like it's partisan. And it seems to me as though the Democrats are trying to, because they're doing this with Justice Thomas, going after him, discredit the court. I'm really worried about that.
So that's interesting, just real quickly, Kaylee, because Republicans are in the majority.
Right. Yeah, and they've said, oh, you've got to step aside Brett Kavanaugh. Oh, you've got to step aside Amy Coney Barrett. Where are the calls for Ketanji Brown Jackson to step aside? Because Biden's just as much as implicated in this as is Trump. So I'm waiting for those calls. I'll continue to wait.
I'll wait with you. Emily, everybody, do we need to bring some Doritos for the way? All right. Coming up, new reporting on criticism from former President Barack Obama on the structure of the Biden campaign. Well, that's putting it politely, because he's told them that they're not winning. And on his concern about former President Trump's strength as a 2024 rival. Stay tuned.
There's one competition between the acts and one between the judges.
My team's going to crush you.
I have the strongest team.
They were brilliant, all right?
ADT Fantasy League. Check your local listings.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers for up to half the price. That's Barbara? Sorry, I was muted. That's amazing. I know, right?
The day you get your Clear Choice dental implants changes your struggle with missing teeth forever. It changes how you eat, how you feel, and how you enjoy life. It changes your smile, and how others smile at you. Clear Choice Network doctors have changed over 100,000 lives with dental implants, and they can change yours too. Because a Clear Choice day changes every day. Schedule a free consultation.
Over 1 million people have put Super Beats by Human blood pressure support supplements to the test. And the numbers tell the story. We have over 70,000 5-star ratings and reviews. We're trusted by over 120 pro and college sports teams. We're America's #1 selling beef brand. The only #1 doctor, pharmacist, and cardiologist recommended beef brand for heart health support. Get started with a free month supply at freesuperbeats.com. Use discount code FOXVIP and get an extra 20% off.
I love shopping the Real Real. Gucci,
Louis Vuitton,
Prada,
Rolex,
Burberry, Saint Laurent.
Luxury brands up to 90% off retail.
thousands of new arrivals daily.
The Real Real. Shop now and get 20% off at therealreal.com. Terms apply.
When you die, are you going to heaven or not? You can know for sure. Heavenornot.net.
Hi, it's Christina again. I'm here to tell you about an all-new special offer from my friends at Jacuzzi Bath Remodel that you don't want to miss. We're giving you 50% off installation and postponing all payments for up to 1 year. And best of all, they can install it in as little as 1 day with no stress and no mess. From a safer, easy entry shower to a stunning family bath, or how about a luxurious upgrade with a timeless design that will look great for years to come.
It was done the same day. You did not have to wait.
It's absolutely perfect. It's exactly what I was dreaming of. Take advantage of this special TV offer today.
Only weeks left to get up to 50% off installation and no interest and no payments for up to 1 year, plus a free safety upgrade. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-991-4021. That's 800-991-4021. Call now.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis takes you off course, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When I wanted to see results fast, Rinvoq delivered rapid symptom relief and helped leave bathroom urgency behind. Check.
When UC tried to slow me down, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC caused damage, Rinvoq came through by visibly repairing my colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission.
And a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Less than 72 hours ago, President Biden kicked off the election year with a fiery speech attacking Donald Trump and his supporters, labeling the former president a threat to democracy.
Choice is clear. Donald Trump's campaign is about him, not America. He's willing to sacrifice our democracy, put himself in power. Trump and his MAGA supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about it. Trump's assault on democracy isn't just part of his past. It's what he's promising for the future. Trump is now promising a full-scale campaign of revenge and retribution. He went on to say he'd be a dictator on day one. He calls those who oppose him vermin. He talks about the blood of America as being poisoned, echoing the same exact language used in Nazi Germany.
Uplifting. And now we're expecting to hear another speech from President Biden. The president will be giving remarks any moment now in Charleston, South Carolina. The state resurrected his political life in the 2020 primary after losses in Iowa and New Hampshire and Nevada. And it seems his campaign is flatlining and needs a jolt. Emily, Axio says Democrats were pretty enthused with his speech on Friday. He mentioned Donald Trump, I believe, 44 times, the economy, 0. I found it to be angry and not uplifting. I think winning presidential campaigns inspire. You think Obama, hope and change. It worked. I've heard Democrats argue this was just a specific note we're hitting, perhaps to shore up suburban women or independents, and we're going to have more to preview. What do you think we'll hear today?
Oh, I think we're going to hear the same. It is the one note played over and over again that Trump is a racist and a threat to democracy, and now he here in South Carolina is planning to essentially engage in a racially charged speech, which outlines that white extremism is the worst threat right now to our democracy, second to President Trump. I think everyone is exhausted by it, and this is a theme that he keeps hitting over and over again because he believes it. What I'm curious about is that it is clear that the continued emphasis he places on this is only working for so long, and it's only working with a specific group of loyalists to him. So it increases the chances, as he refuses to get off of this train, that a third-party Democrat runner will actually pull a lot of votes. And I'm curious about the people who are clearly running the show behind him. What do they say about that? Are they enjoying watching it? We know that there are reports that President Obama has come out and said, look, buddy, hey, let's have lunch. Like, I have been afraid of Trump's essentially power for quite some time and the ability that he might actually win this election. So who are the other voices? Why isn't he listening? Is it because someone there is propping him up in that way? I think it raises a lot of questions. To me, I'm not surprised at all by this, and that's the final thing, that none of this is surprising whatsoever. I think voters deserve better, and the question is simply when the voters will vote with at the ballots and prove to this president we deserved better all along.
Guy, I think this speech on Friday, I thought a lot about it. I think it had two audiences. One, the progressive left. They're very upset over his actions in Israel. They feel it's insufficient support for Palestinian people. Shore up the progressives. Give them some red meat. But two, suburban women. Remind them, you can't vote for the alternative. This is why, come home to me.
Yeah, the playbook was rather successful for the Democrats, for Biden's party, in the midterm elections. So I think Republicans shouldn't just dismiss the potency of the issue. The question is it too one note? Are people too, to Emily's point, exhausted of it? And will people have had enough after 4 years of the failures of this administration to say, okay, I get the point he's making, and yet we can't take this anymore. I was better when Trump was president. My family was better off when Trump was president. That's maybe going to be the tension of this election. One quick thought about Barack Obama, since you mentioned him. Former president apparently staging this little mini intervention. I kind of wonder how that would be received by Joe Biden specifically, because there are reports out there that there were some tensions, a little bit of bitterness there where he felt disparaged by Obama, and Obama has said a few things about him. I just wonder if I'm going to come in and fix it is the attitude that Joe Biden wants to hear from anyone, let alone that particular individual.
And to that point, Harris, so Obama reportedly, according to the Washington Post, mentioned David Plouffe, one of his former aides, and that name kind of strikes a chord with Biden because apparently David Plouffe was the one deployed to say, back down, let Hillary run in 2016, so I'm not sure how receptive he will be.
Look, you hit a lot of notes playing that song, and one of the things that I can't miss is the fact that Joe Biden right now is shedding the black vote, and that is in the Hispanic communities as well. And so what does that look like to America's first black president? Maybe a way he can fix it, because that was your wording. Can he fix it? That's just one of the areas. Look, Biden is going to walk into Chicago where black residents are upset because their resources are being usurped by illegal immigration. Biden's going to walk in there for the convention this coming summer. I mean, this is a hot mess sandwich. You got to pick something other than your Bidenomic policies. Look, Obama's probably saying it. Behind the scenes, maybe they're saying it. Axelrod's saying it publicly. David Axelrod. Democrats are looking at this and saying, you got to pick a sure thing. What do they pick? Hate Donald Trump. That's got to work, right, guys? I mean, isn't that what worked last time? And this is why those two men need to debate. Because America shouldn't be hinged on who hates one more than the other. It's about what makes us better as a country. And we need to hear somebody say that on a stage with the other guy saying that. And who is that going to be? So we need this. We need it. As soon as there is a primary, whoever is decided and comes out on the other side, Biden seems to think he's anointed himself to be that person for the Democrats. He better get ready because he's going to have to debate that other side. America deserves that.
They do. And Rebecca, there are some smart Democrats who are saying this simply isn't enough. A lot of them in Obama world. And there have been all these pieces of people saying there's alarm bells. But I want to pull up this New York Times Magazine cover. Here you'll see it. And the headline is really interesting. Alarming calm. That's how they describe President Biden. The calmest Democrats in the country, they say, are his campaign. They think we've got this. all we have to do is hate Donald Trump, perhaps not realizing their own infirmities, like First Lady Jill Biden having to constantly help Biden off the debate stage where he seemed confused.
Well, it's also incredibly patronizing that Joe Biden thinks he's going to go in and he's as Harris pointed out, he's losing the black votes. He's going to come in and whip them up on racism and Donald Trump. Why not talk to them about the issues that black Americans care about, which happen to be the same issues that many of us all care about, which is the economy, jobs, the illegal immigrants coming in, and it's not just that that they are competing for jobs, but they're also creating really difficult situations just in the area from crime-wise. These are the issues that black voters care about, and Joe Biden isn't going to be, to the extent that we can tell, going to be speaking on these issues. It's back to firing people up, talking about racism, talking about Donald Trump.
No doubt about it. It is an interesting playbook. We will see if it works. A nightmare unfolding in the skies as a door panel blew off of an Alaska Airlines jet while 16,000 feet in the air. More on that crazy story next.
When our country used to flex its muscle with battleships like the USS Iowa, the world would listen. It's time we return to the America I remember. Hi, I'm William Devane. There are dangerous forces everywhere pulling our country apart, threatening our economy and our way of life. That's why I'm going to do two things: support our military and buy gold from Roslyn Capital. I've never felt safe relying on paper money to protect my assets. That's why I buy gold from Roslyn. With Roslyn, what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. We're all safer with our ships patrolling the seas. And my assets are a whole lot safer with gold from Roslyn Capital. So ask yourself, are you safe?
Call now to get your free gold, silver, and IRA kits. For a limited time, Roslyn is offering up to $15,000 in free gold to qualifying new customers. Call 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900.
You need new replacement windows, but you're just not sure if they're in the budget this year, right? I'm Brian Gary here with Ted Coons from Renewal by Edison, and he's here to talk about how to make window replacement more affordable.
Well, first, Brian, you don't have to do them all. You could just replace your worst windows first. Or another way to make them affordable is to change the style of window. For example, you could do a gliding window instead of a casement. We have a lot of ways to make windows